From the incredible imagination of Jim Henson and director Nicholas Roeg comes a fascinating new fantasy adventure. The Witches. For when a little boy accidentally stumbles into their secret world, he finds they've got a lot more power than he ever imagined.
Grandma, it's me, Luke. Luke. They turned me into a mouse. Oh, my. Who's the Grand High Witch?
Join Luke on his remarkable journey.
Bye.
Now, the witches are on his tail.
Whoa.
And he must scurry around their evil plots.
Ow.
Squeak past every danger.
Ow.
Finally setting the trap that will save the world from the witches.
You are in for a treat.
We must stop them.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Horror Movie Maniacs. Thank you so much for joining us again. As always, my name's Grant and I'm here with my co-host Ben.
Hi guys, thanks for listening once again. Once again, we have another special guest on today. So we are here with Vanessa. How are you doing, Vanessa?
Yeah, I'm not bad.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks
Yeah, thank you.
That's all right. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, really?
My name's Vanessa. I live in the Central Belt in Scotland, not too far away from Edinburgh, and I'm a complete amateur at this podcast. Been on a few. I'm on one kind of semi-regularly, the Movie Duel Podcast, and I actually guested on another podcast. It was either last week or the week before, Creative Psychopaths. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No.
So yeah, I'm just a complete amateur horror fan. I'm not in any way a professional.
That's all we need.
Yeah,
That's all we need is horror fans. That's all we need.
That's it. Sorry, yeah, go on.
No. I was just saying I just enjoy watching horror movies and chatting about horror movies, basically.
Exactly the same as us, to be honest. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that ticks all the boxes, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I think we're still completely amateur at this, so join the club.
Oh, gotcha.
But,
Yeah, I've got no idea.
No,
Basically figured out the technology and that's about it.
That's the hardest bit, by the way, because the actual chatting, is fine, because it's easy to chat about things that you like.
Yeah.
It's the technology that I had to go editing for the first time last month. And it took me, when I finally got the hang of it, I was fine, but it took me ages to get the hang of it.
It took us 2 hours to figure out we shouldn't be in the same room when doing this as well. Literally took 2 hours. We're like, why isn't it working?
Yeah, you should have seen the test. They were absolutely hideous, weren't they, Grant? So,
yeah, it was something. That was a long night, that one.
That was a very long night. Yeah. Got there in the end, though.
Feel good, though.
Yeah.
Because we're in the same building, but in separate rooms.
Right.
Right.
That's it. Right. So, Grant, have you got any questions?
I have. So, you've mentioned you like horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a particular horror memory that you're fond of, or do you have a memory of what got you liking them so much?
I was chatting about this actually when I was on the Creative Psychopaths podcast the other week, and I think there was I don't know if I have a specific memory, but when I was young, I was really into stuff like ghost stories and mysteries, UFOs, all that kind of stuff. And I suppose started watching stuff like Eerie, Indiana. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Things like Round the Twist, these kind of and I
love Round the Twist.
Round the Twist was great, wasn't it?
So good.
And I started reading Stephen King, and then maybe watching some of the adaptations of his stuff, like the mini series of It and stuff like that. Yeah. So all of that stuff, I suppose, kind of that was maybe when I was about 10 or 11, and then I probably started. So I suppose it depends what you class as a horror movie, because I remember going to see Jurassic Park, and I must have been. It's one of my favourite films, and I must have been about 9, I think, when that came out, and I would class that as a horror movie. So
Yeah.
I suppose it depends what you kind of class as a horror movie. But yeah, I just remember getting into all of that and then starting to watch movies like Scream, which is probably my favourite horror movie.
Yeah, Ben loves that.
It's a great choice. Yeah.
It's great. And then on the back of that, you want to see the films that were mentioned in it, things like Halloween and Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street, which is another favourite of mine.
Oh, I love Nightmare, yeah.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it? And then you just, like, you want to see more and more, and you kind of seek things out. And I suppose that's kind of how it started. Went through a wee spell, I think, as everybody does, at one point, wanting to see, like, the most extreme stuff, probably like late teens, early 20s. I don't know if you remember Love Film, where you used to get like DVDs.
Yeah, I remember Love Film.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember going through a spell of just like wanting to see all the really, really horrible stuff.
I do that now.
I was going to say, you're still on
really
that. Still on that train. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, there's some really good things. There's some really good stuff in there, actually. Like what you were saying with Jurassic Park. See, I'd say Jurassic Park is probably my actual favourite film ever. Absolute
really?
Jurassic Park nerd. Yeah, man. Yeah. So the horror element, especially if you were 9 years old, the scene at the start with the raptor where you can't see the raptor in the cage, but you can hear it and it's kind of, making all kinds of noises and things would come across as really scary, I think. So, I would say Jurassic Park is probably horror adjacent. Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. I always remember that dude. The big dude in the yellow jacket?
Yeah. Nedry.
He's running away and he sees that raptor and it's in the water and he's trying to be friendly with it. Then he like flicks his like quills out or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I always remember that so distinctly.
Yeah, that's quite a scary moment.
I think I must have been a little kid. Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's quite scary because like, I suppose it's because that I can't remember what you call that dinosaur, but it's like small enough that you can imagine it, whereas like with the T-Rex, it's so big, it's like unimaginable. You can't really imagine what that would be like, but like something the size of like a big dog or whatever is like scarier somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's because he was a little bit cute, wasn't he? And then out of nowhere he switches.
That's it, yeah. Turns into an absolute terror. Yeah. Spits right in his eye, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, nasty stuff.
It's a great film, though. It's not my favourite, but I would say it's definitely in my top 10 or my top 5, and I watch it probably every year. In fact, I'm going to see it next month with a full like orchestra playing the music.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's coming back to the cinema, or it might have already in 3D, because it's like 30 years old.
Oh, so, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just love Round the Twist. I'm still thinking about Round the Twist.
What? Remind me, what? I think the name rings a bell, but I can't put my finger
on
it. Was like,
I swear it was set in Australia. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, it was just like a typical, almost like Grange Hill type thing.
Oh, okay.
And just crazy things happened. I distinctly remember, this probably isn't that PC, but one of the chaps, he's at a urinal and he starts trying to wee really high, and then he ends up being able to wee over the wall, and it goes like right into the playground. But it was just bonkers to me.
I bet you tried it. I bet you tried it as well, didn't you, when you were younger? Yeah.
I think everyone's tried it, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
But the theme tune, I can't think of the theme tune, but I remember it being incredibly catchy.
Do you know what I might actually, if I can find it, I probably, wouldn't be allowed, but I might add a bit of it into the podcast. Just so
100%.
Really, I can remember it, I just don't want to sing it, but it's really good.
Oh, no.
See,
it was good, though. I do remember it being classy, but I just can't remember it.
Was it
just bizarre. Scary. It wasn't really horror. It was more like weird mysteries and stuff, but like a good kind of like gateway drug.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at it.
It's not like the Queen's Nose, though, is it?
Oh, that was and the Demon Headmaster. That must have been the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I remember Queen's Nose. She used to rub her 50 pence. I was like, when you say it out loud, you're like, what on earth was that? She rubs her 50p and then. Yeah,
you like watch some weird stuff.
Goosebumps was sick though, wasn't it? How good was Goosebumps?
Goosebumps was great.
That was like my gateway. You haven't read Goosebumps books, Ben?
No.
Oh, that's unacceptable. Yeah, the books, that was my gateway, reading all the Goosebumps books. So good. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
I think I just went straight in. I just went straight in with the gross stuff, to be honest. Yeah. So,
Goosebumps and Resident Evil.
Didn't bother with any of the gateway stuff. Just went straight for the hardcore 80s horror. So,
well, fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Never look back. Cool. Good stuff. Right.
Ben, have you got a question?
I've got a couple, but so I was going to ask, how did you get into doing the Movie Duel thing then, the podcasting?
It was so about 2 years ago, I started listening to the Evolution of Horror podcast. You guys both listen to that podcast?
Yeah, I've listened to a fair bit of it. Yeah. It's amazing.
And so I'm on like the Facebook group for the Evolution of Horror. Yeah. And basically, Pete, the guy who runs the Movie Duel, him and his friend had started it. And his friend, for whatever reasons, I think, wasn't able to continue, but he wanted to keep doing it. So he was just looking for people to like explore a couple of different options. Yeah. So a few people were like, "Oh, I'd be quite happy to come on." Like I'd listened to a few of the episodes beforehand anyway. And the premise is like, you pick a topic. So like I think the last one I did was the worst horror remakes, and like you both pick a movie and then you discuss both of the movies. It's not always horror. Like the other one I've been on was Paul Verhoeven. Felt it's just whatever. But like everybody,
it's all RoboCop.
Yeah. So Pete put a thing out on the page looking for people, and I just said, "Oh, that sounds quite good fun." And then we had a chat, and then I just ended up being on, and now I think he's got like 4 co-hosts that kind of do it on a rolling basis with him. That's cool. And I think all of them are people that basically just got in touch through that post on the Evolution of Horror Facebook group and just said, that sounds quite good. And I've enjoyed it, and it's quite good because obviously you meet different people and whatever who've got similar interests that you maybe wouldn't meet otherwise. So it was just from another podcast basically.
Yeah, brilliant. Wow.
Is there anything in particular you like about it, about doing the podding?
I just like talking.
Yeah, that's fair enough, isn't it?
I was going to say, definitely helps.
You're in trouble if you don't like it, isn't you?
Yeah. I quite like talking, and I'm also quite a methodical person. I actually like sitting at when I sat and watched the movie that we're going to be discussing. I sat and wrote loads of notes. I quite like looking into different actors and trivia associated with movies. I'm just quite geeky when it comes to stuff like that. So I think I just enjoy that side of things as well. And because on the Movie Duel podcast, we're always watching 2 movies. The movies, a couple of movies that Pete has picked are movies that I haven't seen. In fact, most of the ones he's picked are ones I've been on, movies that I haven't seen. So I watched Masters of the Universe the other night.
Wow, what a film.
Movie.
I was going to say, please say you loved it.
Oh,
such a good film.
Yeah.
Is that with Dolph Lundgren, yeah?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh,
it's so good.
I forgot she was in it.
That, it's been great just watching stuff that honestly I probably wouldn't have watched otherwise. So
yeah. Well, we've got one to suggest then that you might not have heard of, haven't we, Grant?
Okay.
Have we?
So a little while ago we watched a little low budget film called Larmageddon.
Oh God.
So if you're into kind of trashy horror, definitely give that a whirl.
It's
Larmageddon.
Larmageddon. Yeah.
Right. Like Armageddon with L in front of it.
That's it.
Like the animal llama. Yeah. Larmageddon.
Right. Larmageddon.
Yeah. It's about a llama.
I was going to say, Grant, you're just giving it away. Yeah, what?
Spoiler. Jesus.
Oh, no.
Well, you and Ben are going to get on just fine because Ben does all the notes as well, and I do not a lot.
I do all the notes, but then, like I say,
I can't be tied down, man. I'm,
you're just chaos.
I'm a rebel.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly.
I will.
That's from other guys, by the way. I didn't just make that up, but yeah.
You haven't
seen other guys?
Haven't seen that either. No.
Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
We have this kind of thing, right, where
we do watch comedies.
All of the films that Grant ever says, "Oh, this is a good film," I seem to have never seen. So, and I always say I've seen so many movies, but yet never the ones that he's watched. So I don't know.
But you've seen a lot of the older ones, and I see most of the new ones, don't I?
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say I'm really old?
No, I'm saying it directly. No, not at all. Yeah, but you like the classic stuff, and I kind of like the newer stuff, don't I? It's kind of fair.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Cool. Right. Well, Vanessa, you briefly touched upon the film that we are going to chat about today. So, just to let everybody know, we do something called the Wheel of Misfortune, where the guests give us sort of 10 films roughly, and we put all these names into the Wheel of Names online, and we give it a good spin. So, why you always smirk when I say that?
Just a bloody good spin.
A bloody good spin, yeah. I gave it a really good spin on this one. All right, so
yeah, this was a good one. To be fair,
the wheel landed on the Witches from 1990.
What a film!
What a film! Yeah,
I was so excited when it landed on that.
Yeah, I don't overly remember. I'm pretty sure I'd seen it before, but I could only remember like one or two bits, and then I didn't know if I'd seen them in just clips online or something. So. Yeah, watching this was an absolute treat.
It's so, yeah, it is one. It is a good one. Right, let's talk Witches. And as you couldn't have guessed, I'm very excited about this. So I'm going to crack on with the synopsis as I always do.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a longer one here. There is a short one, but I'm going to do the longer one.
Okay.
Whilst staying at a hotel in England with his grandmother, young Luke inadvertently spies on a convention of witches. The Grand High Witch reveals a plan to turn all children into mice through a magical formula. When they find out Luke has overheard, the witches test the formula on him. Now, with the help of Helga and the hotel manager, Mr. Stringer... Oh, yeah, with the help of the hotel manager, sorry, there's a comma there. Luke the mouse must fight back against the witches. That makes it sound like some sort of like happy fantasy sort of film, isn't it? And it doesn't come... It's not like that. It's actually quite harrowing. But anyway.
I wouldn't say it's a happy fantasy film, yeah. More of a dark fantasy horror comedy kind of thing. Yeah. But cool, right. You. Yeah, thanks very much for that. We'll chat about it in a sec then, Grant. But first off, we'll just do what we normally do, guys, and go over, the budget and the money side of things.
Money.
So money, yeah. Well, first off, I'll just say this was directed by a guy called Nicholas Roeg, I think. Not sure if I pronounced that right. Roeg. Yeah, okay. The budget I've got down as $11 million US.
Mm-hmm.
And the box office take. Now, I was kind of surprised by this, and I don't know if my source was not correct or if this is what I actually
think you're right.
But box office is only 15.3 million.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
that's shocking.
I mean, considering the budget is 11. Like I'm saying, that's quite a lot for some of the films we've been covering. Don't even get to $1 million for the budget. So,
Paranormal Activity was 15 grand or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Armageddon was about £2.50. So it's
right. It's probably over budget that.
Yeah, probably. So 11 mil. That's quite a lot, especially in 1990. I'd imagine as well. But it stars Angelica Houston, Rowan Atkinson, Brenda Blethyn, a chap called Bill Patterson, I think, who I didn't recognise the name, but I recognised his face when I saw him. And Jane Horrocks, who you might know from Absolutely Fabulous, is where I knew her from.
And Bloods.
I haven't seen Bloods or heard of Bloods.
It's a comedy about paramedics. It's very funny. But yeah, she's in that.
Cool. And then the only other one I've got here is May Zetterling, who plays Helga. So there you go. Quite, I would say, for his time, quite a star-studded. I mean, I don't know how famous some of those people were at that point. Angelica Houston, I presume, is quite big, but
they got a bit lucky with Rowan Atkinson, didn't they? Because he'd just started at Mr. Bean, I believe. So Mr. Bean had just come out. So he'd done this film, then he did Mr. Bean, but Mr. Bean came out first.
Okay.
And obviously we know how big Mr. Bean is, and then it sort of lent his name to this film a little bit. So I reckon that helped it a little bit. But 15 million ain't a lot, is it? That's quite...
No, I thought it'd be more. Yeah. So
we still think 4 million is nothing to be snuffed at, but still, it's not as much as some other films we've seen that don't deserve to have as much profit as this film should have.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. So parts of it were filmed in Norway. So I presume that was a bit at the start. Most of it was filmed, I've got here Cookham in Berkshire and Newquay, Cornwall as well, which is where the hotel is situated.
Yeah, I've got to go there. I'm desperate to go to that hotel now.
Yeah, should we go and stay for the night? If it's there, I don't know.
I just wonder if they've got stuff that nods to the film there. Do you know what I mean? I want to go into that chat, like the meeting room.
Yeah, I'd like to think
good.
So. Yeah.
It'd be so good, wouldn't it?
Organise a
little
road
mice
trip.
everywhere.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's go Cornwall.
That's great. Let's go.
Now?
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, let's have a little chat then about the movie in general. First off, I failed to mention, actually, it's based on a book, isn't it? So it's based on the book The Witches by Roald Dahl. Very famous actor, author, even. I was going to say, don't think he did any movies, but
this is BFG.
Vanessa, have you read the book at all?
I did, but only like last year or the year before. Like I've seen the film so many times, but and I don't know, right? See, when I was a kid, we used to listen to Roald Dahl audiobooks in the car. We used to go quite low. My dad doesn't fly; he's frightened of flying. So when we were kids, we used to go places like Cornwall that you could drive.
Yeah,
to.
I love a staycation. Yeah,
and we would listen to Roald Dahl audiobooks. So we might have listened to it, but I can't really remember that. But I only read it, and actually, it's really like the movie. Apart from the end, the movie is really close to the book, like really close to the book. So, and if you want like a wee easy read, like obviously it's a kid's book, so it's not particularly taxing to read.
Yeah,
but I only read it as an adult.
I'll be quite interested to read it actually. So, because Grant,
you want to see how nice it probably seems in the book compared to.
Yeah. Didn't you have?
Sorry, go on. What you can say, Ben?
Didn't you have a little fact about the book?
Well, there was just a few things that I realised. So, like in the book, Luke doesn't have a name. Mm-hmm. He's not named in it.
How do they like?
I don't know.
How do they mention him? Or does he called the boy? Or...
We'll have to read it.
Yeah, I think it's like a couple of years now since I read it. I think it's like the boy, and it's and I don't think she gets a name either. I think she's just grandma or Granny or whatever it is. I don't think she's named, whereas in the film she's got a name as well.
Yeah. And in the book, the grandma, she is an actual proper witch hunter, and she loses her thumb in the book, but in the film, she obviously loses her pinky.
Yeah, cool, nice.
So like cool ones.
Yeah, it'd be quite good to see a version where she's a full-on badass kind of witch hunter.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would indeed. I was going to say I've never read the book, but I do quite fancy it, to be honest. So
yeah, gotcha.
Right, so should we start off just then having a bit of a chat about the story in general?
Yeah.
Grant, what did you think of it? What did you think of the story?
Well, I mean, I love this film start to finish. It's a very simple film, and in every right, it should be like a typical kids' film. Even when I read out the synopsis, it was, a boy goes to a hotel and these witches want to turn him into a mouse. And it all sounds really like jovial and funny and stuff like that, but it does not come across like that in the movie. And I mean that for the right reasons. Like, this film is scary as hell. Even watching it again for today, in preparation for today.
Yeah.
All those feelings came straight back again. Seeing the peel their faces off, that was terrifying. The baby pram flying off down the hill, that was terrifying.
Yeah, that surprised the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh my God, she's actually going to kill a kid. What?
Yeah, I know. And the bit that always sticks out to me, I don't know why it is, but when his parents have passed away and he's living in the new house with his grandma, he's in his tree house.
Yeah.
That first witch with the leather bag, I don't know why, but that leather bag is just imprinted in my memory. I can see it as clear as day every time. She's trying to give him the chocolate and she's got the snake. I was like, this again. It just takes you back to being a little kid all over again. But yeah, I've gone off on a tangent a little bit there. The story, I think, it's simple, but it does what it needs to, really.
I'd agree.
I don't really have any faults with it. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, Vanessa, do you agree with what Grant was saying?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's a simple story. It zips along. I mean, I can't remember how long the movie is. It's less than an hour and a half, I think. And the bit that gets me, well, funnily enough, I do always remember that woman with the bag, because the way she says chocolate, she's like, chocolate, like she over pronunciates like what she's saying. And I don't know, there is something really creepy about that. But it's the bit at the start with the girl in the picture who moves about.
Oh, yeah.
I still get scared watching that. And the bit where the dad notices the girl for the first time and his face changes.
Yeah.
And then the fact that like she gets old in this picture and one day, I don't know why, but like that whole concept really frightened. It still frightens me. Like it frightened me when I first saw it. But even watching it now, I'm like, oh shit, I can't cope with that. I don't know why, but I just find it horrible.
No, I was thinking about that. I was like, so she's growing older on her own in this picture. I don't get it. I want to understand the logistics of it.
Yeah, but it's a pretty creepy situation, isn't it? Really? Yeah, you're trapped in there and you're getting older, and then suddenly gone.
Disappear.
So yeah,
Seeing her in this picture, it must be so depressing.
Yeah, it's very strange. There was actually a bit near the start that absolutely scared the living hell out of me. I'm not going to lie.
Why's that, Ben?
I was going to say, I told Grant this before. I'm absolutely petrified of frogs.
All right.
And there's just a brief moment where there was a frog on the desk, and all my life.
So good.
It's not good at all. You know,
that's good for me because you should never have told me.
Autumn, winter time, mate. In real life, in the dark, I'm just scared constantly.
I'm just going to send you pictures of frogs now, just randomly.
Yeah, no, please don't do that. And obviously,
Like
anyone else that's listening, please don't message me pictures of frogs.
This is it now.
I was going to say I've made a bit of an error here, haven't I?
Horror Movie Maniacs Facebook is going to be flooded with frog pictures now.
I'll just delete the
Do
group.
it, everyone. The
group is gone.
I'll start a new one. Do it.
But no, so that absolutely petrified me. I liked seeing, the little bit where her finger had gone and stuff, and you wonder what's happened there. And then, the bit with the lady, the first time you see her at the new house, and she's trying to entice him with a snake. Would you not choose the chocolate first? She goes straight for the snake, didn't she? So, oh, hey, look at this snake.
Yeah, but he was a bit tempted, wasn't he? He was a bit like, ooh.
He was a bit tempted.
Snag.
yeah. But so it's a bit creepy straight away at the start, isn't it? Overall, I thought, like Vanessa, like you said, the story does zip along at quite a pace. But then I think because it was supposed to be a kids' film, and usually have shorter attention spans and things, that it was obviously meant to be like that, wasn't it?
I've got a thought about this quickly. This just popped into my head, and I remember thinking this while I was watching it. Firstly, the grandma telling him the stories of witches before bedtime is incredibly irresponsible.
It is, but I love that because it's kind of, you're going to stay at the nan's house, and like it's the cool nan. It's not the boring nan. You've gone to the cool nan's house.
But he's like, "Tell me one more story," and she's like, "Yeah, you're going to die," or something like that. I'm like, "Oh my god, nan! Like, chill out."
Yeah, but also kids are probably harder in the 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But then the bit that got me is, so they're so aware of witches, but they do the very bare minimum to keep the kids safe. Like, just put a treehouse out on the roadside, mate. Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
Let's go to a hotel. We won't check anything out or anything, but we'll go to the hotel.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's how it used to. That's how it used to be. Weren't cameras everywhere in those days.
She's puffing her cigars all day as well, isn't she?
That was a strange thing as well. Yeah, nan who smokes the cigars and everything. Yeah.
You got diabetes? Let me have a fag.
Yeah. I told you that. Cool nan. What a cool nan.
She was a cool nan.
Yes,
she was a very cool nan.
Yeah. I liked her a lot.
So, what I always like to ask next is ambiance. Vanessa, what do you think about the whole sort of vibe of the film?
I like it. I think it's. I was thinking, right, so I've been in Cornwall and I've been in Newquay, and I don't think I've been at that hotel, but I've been at like a similar hotel, these like big old fashioned hotels that sit like at the top of the cliffs at the beach. And I thought the setting of the hotel was amazing because, I don't know, I've got like a thing about things being set in one place. Like, I like things that are like folks stuck in a room, or like quite like some courtroom drama, where just everything's like in the one place.
No, I'm exactly like that,
I like stuff like that. And the majority of the films there, but the bit before that, like the treehouse bit is good. The bit in Norway is quite creepy. I think the whole ambiance or whatever, the ambiance of the movie's like really good. It's weird though, right? Because it is a kid's film, but there's weird wee details that like I didn't really pick up on, I think, as a kid. Like the fact that Mr. Stringer, Rowan Atkinson's character, is having an affair with the like one of the housekeeping staff, and it's like, why? What's that got to do with anything? Like, it's like weird wee bits that I feel are just a bit like, what? But yeah, overall, I think I really enjoy the ambiance of this film.
You can't say the word ambiance normally. It's impossible.
But you
Like,
can't.
I feel like a
can't say it
donut.
normally. You can't
Like
say it normally.
ambience. Oh, how crap's that? See, bit of flair.
You got to put on your best French kind of accent there. And there you go. Brilliant.
And do the hands.
It's because he's had a baguette earlier. So,
That's so stereotypical, Ben.
All right, well, sorry.
How dare you?
Apologies. Yeah, if we have any
It was a good
French,
baguette, though.
have any French
It was a really good
listeners,
baguette.
so- I bet. It's completely thrown me off track. But
What are we going for next?
Well, do you want to?
Well, Ben, what's your thoughts on the ambiance?
Yeah, again, I quite liked it. It did have a kind of crazy, chaotic 90s kids feel vibe, mixed in with some very creepy parts. Yeah, it's it did have a bit of odd kind of humor at times. Like Vanessa, like you touched on there. Obviously, that wasn't a humorous moment, but involving the same guy, so Mr. Stringer. The bit where the chef has the rat down his trousers, and he takes off. Yeah, he takes his trousers off, and he's doing all kinds of gyrations and.
Yeah, he's proper handsy there, isn't he?
Yeah, he is indeed. But then Mr. Stringer looks down at his like crotch area and went, "Not much down there." And I laughed out loud. I was like, "What the actual fuck?" Why would you kind of even say that in a kids' film? Or why is he even looking? But it felt a little out of place for a kids' movie.
It was a bit.
But then I suppose it's one of those moments that you get in like the Shrek films and that, where the adults will get it and laugh, and the kids will have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Mr. Stringer.
I read about him. Rowan Atkinson said he based his character off of the Fawlty Towers hotel manager.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's like a more serious version of him. Maybe, don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a bit odd.
Yeah, but no, overall the ambiance was impressive. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It was good, wasn't it?
It's a good vibe. Yes, definitely.
Good vibes.
What do you want to move on to next?
Well, we've gone through setting and ambiance.
We have.
So what about the actors? Ben, why don't you kick off? What do you think of the actors?
There's some extremely good performances in this. Yeah, I mean, Angelica Houston, having up as the Grand High Witch was just incredible. I thought absolutely amazing. Every time you see her character, I was like paying full attention. So for every scene that she's in, you're listening to what she's saying, you're looking at the screen. Yeah, absolutely top class. I mean, Rowan Atkinson, as creepy and strange as he was, I'm presuming he was supposed to play it that way. So, I mean, I've always been a fan of Mr. Bean. Probably going to get a lot of hate for this.
Oh, I love Mr. Bean.
My wife absolutely hates it. But,
so does my wife.
I can see why people hate it. And looking back now, I'm thinking I probably shouldn't like this. This is.
I'll still watch
terrible.
it. I love Mr. Bean.
Have you got a teddy bear like he has?
I did have it. No, I did. I had the teddy bear, like the exact replica. I don't know where it's probably my mum's attic, but yeah, I was obsessed. I love it. Still do. They've got a cartoon now. It's great.
A true fan. And I mean, of course, Rowan Atkinson was in Blackadder as well, wasn't he? So, which I'd only seen little bits and pieces of. So, but yeah, again, classic. I think he's really good in this. He's very strange, but again, he adds another creepy sort of element to it. Plays a slightly villainous role, doesn't he? But yeah,
he's not as comedic in this one, is he?
No. Obviously, some of the actors I mentioned earlier, Brenda Blethyn, I only really know, and again, I haven't watched it, but playing Vera in the TV series recently.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even think I saw her in it. So yeah, I can't really comment there. But again, Bill Paterson was fine as was it Bruno?
He was so annoying though, wasn't he?
Bruno's dad,
yeah.
I think he's supposed to be though, like
yeah.
He is. He's like the worst like the worst. I suppose if you were like working in a hotel, he'd be like the worst person to live there. But I think that his performance is actually really funny. I don't know why. My wee brother, when we were kids, used to quote Bill Paterson in this movie. So he'd say things like, "I don't like cockaliki," and all of that kind of stuff. Now there's a laddie.
He's Scottish, isn't he? In the film,
yes.
Yeah. Scottish. So I'm not even going to try and do it, but I can see why he would, because obviously you guys could just say it perfectly. Like, I just remember the bit about the crest soup. It's like, well, I want the crest soup.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, mate.
That's it. Yeah. So he did have a couple of good, memorable lines, didn't he? Like you said, the soup bit in general. Yeah, it was great.
I don't know what crest soup is.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
Why would you make? We used to. The only memory I ever have of cress in real life was growing up when I was primary school. You grew cress. Did you do that when you were in school?
Oh, with the potato heads, yeah.
Aye, you grew cress, but I've never known anybody to actually eat it. Since then, that's it's a weird soup thing.
I don't even know what cockaliki is.
I was going to say that's a good point. Actually, I don't either.
What is cockaliki? I'm going to look it up.
It's fish.
Yeah, go and look it up.
So.
Look it up.
You're probably right.
While we chat away.
I think now you spell it.
Cock.
Oh, coke.
I was going to say, be careful. Yeah.
Cock.
Leaky.
Let's go with that. Cockally. Oh, it actually is cock a leaky.
Okay.
It's a fish.
I was going to say, but what is it, Grant?
Leaky is a soup. Oh, it's a Scottish soup. Leeks, pepper, chicken stock, thickened with rice or sometimes barley. Oh, I don't even know. There's so many different types. Apparently, it's a native soup for you guys. So
there you go.
I should know.
Yeah,
you should. Yeah. If you don't know, we're screwed.
Yeah. Just want to touch on the lady who played the grandma briefly. I thought she was brilliant as well. I really liked her character. I thought she was had almost a kind of cheeky nan vibe, very endearing, very very loving towards her grandson. Just a nice.
Yeah, I liked her as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Vanessa, is there any standout characters or performances for you?
Bill Patterson.
He was good.
Bruno Jenkins was quite funny. I agree with everything you said. Angelica Houston's probably the standout performance. I mean, she's just amazing. But the boy that plays Luke, I find a bit strange. I much prefer him when he turns into a mouse.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? And maybe that's what else to mention. It's not a cast member, but Jim Henson is obviously involved with us, and I think that's who did the mice and the Grand High Witch and stuff. And I think Bruno Jenkins is the same. Bruno Jenkins is like a wee shit that you just would be so annoyed with, but the minute that they're mice, they're just really cute.
Yeah, they're adorable. Yeah.
I love how at peace Bruno is with being a mouse as well.
He's just
he's that's all right. Yeah.
These things happen, But
as long as he's eating, he's all right.
As long as he's got food eyes, he's fine.
Could be worse. He could be a frog. So, I wouldn't be okay with. I would not be okay with that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's good. Grant, anyone stand out for you?
Yeah, there was a few ones. Obviously, I do love Jane Horrocks. I think that was awesome that she was involved. And I think she plays a pretty good character. I don't think they explained her part enough, though. That's the only thing for me. Because at the end, she she changes him back, and I was a bit like, so, because I got the vibe that she wasn't a witch and she wanted to be, and then somehow she's got powers. I might have misread that, but she was good.
I'm pretty sure she's a witch. Yeah.
But also, what I do think was quite good, even though she was infuriatingly irritating, I've got to say, Mrs. Jenkins was pretty damn good as well. Just the scream whenever she saw a mouse was it was ridiculously over the top, but I believed it. Do you know what I mean? She really went for it.
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree, actually. Yeah.
And I suppose not so much actors, but I think we need to touch more on the mice transformation scene. Oh, no, actually, I know what I want to talk about quickly.
Yeah,
this is more important. While I was watching it, I was looking at all the witches in the hall, and I was like, a lot of them look like blokes.
Yeah.
And it turns out, it was, but they made no effort. They just put a wig and a cardigan on them.
I don't know how I even missed that.
It's like,
I'm going back. I'm going to have another look. But how did I?
I don't know. I never noticed it as a kid, but when I watched it the other day, I was like, hang on a minute. There is a lot of blokes in this film, in wigs. It was a bare minute, but apparently they couldn't find enough actresses. Apparently, but
I think
that need mentioning.
that they couldn't get actresses who were willing to shave their heads. So, for like obvious reasons.
I
And
never
I
thought
think,
of that.
like, obviously guys would probably be happier doing that. One of them, and I don't know if this is true or if I just read it, but one of the guys in that scene, I think is it Eric Idle from Monty Python?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I know of Eric Idle,
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
amazing.
it was like,
Oh, okay. I'll have to, when I have
So
another
funny.
look, when I go back and have a look, I'll look out for him,
You watch it, like, hang on a second. What is this?
yeah. But I mean that whole the whole scene of them when they're all first in that room, I thought like the reveal was quite early on. I was kind of surprised that you find out that early that, you know, she's the Grand High Witch and all of that stuff, and then they all start revealing themselves. But yeah, the makeup effects on the whole witches reveal, the witches themselves, and then the transformation scenes.
Yeah, my
absolutely
God.
incredible.
That's just, that's bloody terrifying, that where he's changed into a mouse. He's just like wobbling. You know, he's just like, right before he changes, and then he just like it's awful in a good way.
It's really well done because it's 1990, so what's that, 33 years ago?
33 years,
Yeah, it is.
So it's none of it was computer generated. I don't think it was all done using like puppets and like real effects. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, wasn't it the Grand High Witch? What was it? What we were talking about before, weren't we? 8 hours to put it on and 5 hours to take it off.
Something like that. Yeah,
her
evil version of herself. Yeah,
per day. I mean, I don't know how many days she had to have that on for, but you'd be like, can we just keep filming until it's all done? Surely.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Christ. But yeah, they were unbelievable effects, I've got to say.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, the bit where she starts to peel Angelica Houston, you know, the Grand High Witch, where she starts to peel her face off, and then she stops, and she's just got like the forehead bit flapping down, and you can see under there. But as a kid, surely that's gonna absolutely terrify you. You know,
that whole bit was terrifying though, I think, as a kid, because like, and I don't know, it's a wee bit maybe like added creepiness that they're pretending to be like the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Opposite of that. And like the fact that they're all adults, so when you're a kid, you know, you especially women, and maybe you shouldn't think this, but as a kid, like, you're not really ever told to be worried about women. You know what I mean? You're told to be worried about guys potentially, but never really like a woman's going to do anything bad to you. So, and they all look, when they've got their wigs and everything on, they do look like the women's like institute or something. Do you know what I mean? Like they look like like nice, kind women. So I think that whole scene's really, really scary, to be honest.
Yeah, and I also like later on as well. You know, when she goes back into her room and she starts taking her face off, and then someone knocks. I think it's the hotel manager knocks on the door, and she kind of has this mask like just like plopped on her face a little bit. Yeah. I remember that bit being horrible as well.
Yeah, it's obviously.
Never mind the bit where. Sorry, go on, Ben. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say it's like the skin isn't fitting on her face correctly yet. Is it? It's a bit. It's almost a bit not as harsh, but a bit Leatherface like. You know, it's just there. Know, right? It's there, but it's not quite there. And so,
I never even thought that. Now that's all I can see. I love that.
Should do a crossover.
Yeah, I know, right? And never mind the bit we touched on it a little bit, but the scene where she just pushes that pram down the hill. I've never known anxiety like it.
Oh, I know.
It's horrible. And it's when that one of the witches is running along, going, "A baby in a pram," like all excited.
She's so happy. Yeah,
there's
so many things wrong.
Best thing she's ever seen. Yeah,
just out in the open, just like.
Yeah. They don't care at that point, do they? So,
no,
that was a pretty horrifying scene.
I know,
but yeah, luckily, I mean, the baby gets saved just at the very last minute. Then by our boy Luke. So Luke, by the way, he's not. I didn't look at this, but he reminds me of the Milky Bar kid from years ago in the advert.
Yeah, he does.
And every time I saw him, I was like, yeah, I want a Milky, I want a Milky Bar. Yeah. So I don't know, it's just popped into my head. So sorry, a bit of a tangent, bit of a weird one.
No, that's right. I think, I don't know if there's much else to go through, is there? What do you think?
I
We've covered it all, really.
I wanted to briefly mention some of the camera angles when the witches are all cackling and laughing, and there's all kinds of stuff going on when Bruno's transforming. I swear, some of the angles come like from the ground up into the witches' faces and things, and they look like they're leaning over. Or is that a different part?
No, I think you're right.
No, I think that's right, yeah.
And like they're just all cackling, and there's so much noise from every direction, and the camera is just making it look really intense and chaotic.
Yeah,
and I think
they do that at the end as well, don't they? When they're changing into mice as well, it's very intense.
That's it. So I just think that's really good camera work in creating that kind of intense chaos, all around. So
it was intense chaos, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was. I thought that definitely added to it.
Gotcha. So, I mean, is there anything else you guys want to go over? I'm happy to go in for a rating for this one. Like, what do we think out of 10, really? I'll go with you, Ben. What's yours? What's yours out of 10 for this one?
I really enjoyed it. Like I say, I didn't really remember much about it from years ago, and watching it now as an adult, I just love all of it. To be honest, I'm gonna give it a really, really solid 8.5. I think. Nice. So
nice, Vanessa. Over to you.
I am going to give it 9 out of 10, I think. I just very briefly wanted to mention, because I read the book a couple of years ago, the ending in the book, Luke doesn't change back. He stays a mouse.
Okay.
And I actually think it works better than, and I wonder if that's why that character's in the film, because she has to serve that purpose at the end. But Roald Dahl apparently really didn't like the ending, and I might have given it 10 out of 10 if it stuck with that ending, because there's this lovely bit in the book where Luke realises that he's only going to live a few years, but his grand's probably only going to live a few years more, so that the two of them will be together. And I don't know, it's like, it's a wee bit too neat how it gets tied up in the film. So I'm giving it 9, but it might have actually been more than that had it kept the original ending, I think.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, no, because they touch on that in the film, don't they? Because he goes like, how long do mice live for? So you kind of, I forgot that he got changed back, actually. So as much as I thought it was a little bit sad, I never thought about how they could live out their days together. That's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And I actually thought it was going to end with him staying as a mouse.
Yeah.
So, it seemed to be going that way. And then suddenly she just turns up and bow, back
I know. So, just out of nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. So it was a bit weird at the end. What about you, Grant?
Yeah, I'm going 9 out of 10. I haven't really got any criticisms. I don't really ever find a film completely perfect, so I can't give something a 10. But the nostalgia on this is one of my favourite childhood memories. This film, I was so excited when we landed on it in the wheel, and watching it again. When you watch something 20 years later, it's sometimes not as good. I think this is actually better than when I watched it as a kid. It's aged perfectly, and I think it's just a masterpiece. So solid 9 out of 10.
Brilliant, nice. What to say, seems like we all enjoyed that loads. So right, anything else to add, or I think if we covered everything?
I'm good. Don't know if you got anything, Vanessa, anything you want to chat about?
No, I think we've covered it all, but all in all, thoroughly enjoyed having an excuse to watch it again. Really enjoyed it,
same. I needed an excuse.
Super glad it landed on it, actually. I mean, at first I was a bit like, oh, is that horror? And then Grant's like, oh, it's absolutely horror. Yeah, it's definitely horror. He's like, what do you want about? I'm still bloody petrified. So and no, you're right. It's an absolute brilliant choice. Yeah, it's really good. I'm so glad it landed on that as well, to be fair. So,
amazing.
Cool. Right. Vanessa, thank you very much for coming on. It's been absolutely great.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Right. Thanks. Take care.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. That was a lot of fun talking about witches.
Great film. Yeah. Thanks again, Vanessa. Absolutely great having you on the podcast.
Yeah, that was a lot of good fun. Guys, thank you so much for listening again. Thank you for listening to us talk for so long. But more importantly, thank you for listening to our very special guest.
And don't forget, guys, go and check out the Movie Duel Podcast. It's pretty amazing.
I think that's about it. We're on all social media. We're on all podcast places.
We are indeed. Yeah. As we always say.
We are on repeat, but it's you got to.
Yeah.
And then, as always, we've got some extra cool stuff on Patreon. And newsletter episode 2 is coming soon, people.
It's going to be amazing. Check it out. Have a look.
I hope it will be. But guys, thank you so much again.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
See you later.
you ever felt like this? Have strange things happen?